Hello everyone, welcome to another Quad Education Test Prep Fundamentals video. My name is Tom, and today we're talking about a topic from the SAT writing section that you might not expect to be in there. So picture this, you're working through the SAT writing section, you're doing your punctuation, your verb tense questions, no problem, and then out of nowhere you find a graph question. A graph question feels more like something you expect in the math section, right? It's a graph. Well, unfortunately, the SAT writing section involves graph questions as well. And that's what we're talking about today, so let's take a look.
Okay, so graph and table questions. Why are they in the SAT writing section at all, first of all? Well, if you ask me, it's because there isn't an ACT science section in the SAT. Obviously, that's not the explicit answer that the SAT would give you if you were to ask them, but I feel like that's probably pretty much why. So the ACT has this whole section where students answer a bunch of questions about a ton of graphs and tables, which is the science section. And before the College Board redesigned the SAT, they really didn't have that many graphs in their whole entire test. So they probably figured, hey, you know what this new SAT needs? Well, it needs more graphs. That's what it needs. And so they put graphs in the writing section. And they also put graphs in the reading section, which is a video for another day. So look out for that one. But the topic for today, how do I do SAT writing section graph questions? Well, here's an example I threw together. So let's take a look and illustrate the way that we do it. So before I start talking, just go ahead and see if you can do it yourself. So here's this graph about people's favorite fruits, and they're saying which of the following is an accurate interpretation of the pie chart above. And I was a little cheeky here. It included tomato as a fruit because it technically is, but you know. They say more respondents preferred banana than did tomato. And that's pretty clear that the banana is 25 and the tomato is 25, and that's the same thing. So no. The percentage of respondents that preferred peach was greater than the combined percentage of the respondents who preferred tomato and orange. Ooh, that's quite a bit. So the percentage of respondents that preferred peach is apparently 35, and the combined percentage of respondents who preferred tomato and orange. So tomato being 25 and orange being 10, so that's a total of 35, so those are the same. So no. The percentage of respondents who preferred peach was greater than the combined percentage of the respondents who preferred tomato and apple. So we have 35 again for peach, and tomato and apple, tomato being 25 and apple being 5. So that does appear to be true. And finally, fewer respondents preferred tomato than apple. So tomato being 25 and apple being 5, that's just not true. So to be clear, the SAT graph and table questions that you will do will be contextual, which is to say they'll be inside of an entire passage. I wasn't feeling up to writing an entire passage with just this one question, so I hope you'll forgive me for that. But anyway, how did I get an answer here? Well, can you see what the issue is? So even though this is the writing section, this question is not testing grammar because all these answers work grammatically. Instead, what we're testing is how accurate the statements are. Now, if this was a math question, that would just be obvious because it's math and we're doing math. But it's in the middle of the writing test, and that means it needs to be explicitly said because for all the other questions, you're looking for grammar, and then all of a sudden you're not doing grammar at all, you're doing basically math. And so what we did here was we basically identified which answers lie about the information in the graph. So basically in a word, if you wanted to explain how to do the SAT graph and table questions, it would be get rid of the lies about the graph. Yep, it's 3 truths and a lie for SAT graph questions. So let's do a little bit of practice and work through this a bit. Okay, so I have 2 examples here, and they're both very large, so we're just going to do one at a time. So here is our first question. Go ahead and take a look and see what you can do. All right, looking at the first question here. Which of the following is an accurate interpretation of the table above? So we have years, we have 5-year increments from 95 to 2010, and we have the number of subscribers in thousands. So the greatest increase in the number of subscribers was between 1995 and 2000. And that difference looks to be about 10. And I can pretty much see that that's going to be wrong because between 2000 and 2005. Because between 2000 and 2005, there's like an increase of like 500, more than 500. So that's not going to be correct. The percent increase in subscribers between 95 and 2000 was greater than the percent increase between 2000 and 2005. Now so that's a little different. So that's a percent change. And you can do your math here, or you can kind of just eyeball it. And 15 to 25 is like a little less than 100% increase. And then between 25 and 194, that's That's going to be a lot more than 100% increase. So that's also going to be wrong. And the percent increase in the number of subscribers between 95 and 2000 was greater than the percent decrease. Oh, that's interesting. Between 2005 and 2010. So percent increase between 95 and 2000 was around 100% increase, we'll say. And the percent decrease in subscribers between 2005 and 2010, that's a lot less. That's like, we're going down by around 50 or so. That's probably like 10-ish%. And this is super eyeball. And if you want an equation for the percent change, we'll do a video about that in the future. That's a great one. So percent increase between 95 and 2000 was greater than percent decrease between 2005 and 2010. That doesn't look that bad because it's saying just like what was the percent number? Like up 50% is a bigger increase than down 10% is a decrease. So that doesn't look too bad. The increase in subscribers between 95 and 2000 was greater than the decrease in subscribers between 2000 and 2010. So with this one, we have this increase of around 10,000, and then here we have a decrease of around 50. So that's back to asking for the numbers, not the percentages. So that's going to be incorrect. And so for this one, that's a lot of really convoluted language that you have to be very careful about. And that's the kind of hard graph question that you'll see on this test where the math isn't really that bad because it's not a math question, but you have to be very specific about what the wording is in order to get it correct. Okay, here's our second graph question. Take a look and see what you can do. Okay, what's an accurate interpretation of the graph? So we sort of start over 50 in 2018, we dip down a bit, and then we go pretty far up into 2022, and then maybe 23 is a partial year, but so far we're not doing too good. And so this is our revenue. Not that that's really important. The greatest decline in revenue occurred between 2018 and 2019. No, we got a big old dip here between 2022 and 23. The greatest increase in revenue occurred between 2021 and 2022. So that's going to be from here to here, and that's close. And I really need to find out, right? Because we're going from around 300 to around 450. So that's about 150 more. But here we're going from 100 to about 300. So that's actually more. And this is a case where it's very slightly steeper between 2020 and 2021. And you'd actually want to calculate that before you just sort of like, yeah, sure, that looks about like the most. So this is actually incorrect. The greatest change in revenue occurred between 2020 and 2021. So this is just a change. And the problem is between 22 and 23 is also a change. And that's a dip of around 400. So that's not correct because we have a bigger change in another year. But the greatest increase did certainly occur between 2020 and 2021. So a lot of answers that are really similar, but only one that's technically correct with regard to what the graph says.
Okay, that's it for this video. Don't be fooled by the fact that these graph questions are in the writing section because grammar is not the issue with them. Instead, approach it like it's a regular math graph question and just get rid of the answers that have lies about the graph. If you found this material useful, we hope that you will like and share the video and subscribe to Quad Education. Please reach out to us if you require additional tutoring, and thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.